So what are you doing?
Like right now?
Yeah, you just came to grace me with your face.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, I came to bless you with my presence.
Thank you, Habibi. Mark, Habibi is
What
a
do you got going on?
wholesaler. Habibi is a wholesaler. His name is Halabi, but I just call him Habibi.
Okay.
He's out of Rhode Island. A
Nice.
long time ago, I think I told you a story of this woman named
Hmm.
Catalina, Katrina, something like that. The reason why I was able to discover that she was a fraud is because Habibi had a deal in Providence, Rhode Island. It was brick multifamily.
Hmm.
And he sent it to Justin Tuminowski. And Justin was like, this is you all day long. And so sent it to me. I went. It was like a rooming house for men.
Okay.
A little bit dicey, a lot of bit dicey. Everybody's out like it's the hood of Providence. Um,
Mhm.
and so the reason why I love him is because he was a young wholesaler. He's made a name for himself in Rhode Island. He hustles. As you know, I have a lot of respect for people that do acquisitions because I think it's one of the hardest. And
Mm.
I don't think I excel at I'm good at acquisitions, but I also suck at it, just my demeanor, what I'm good at, what I'm not good at. But anyway, because of him, I walked into this house. I'm in the basement by myself with one other guy, which is not what I usually do because it's dangerous.
Mm.
And I'm on the phone with Hong Tran. And I'm having this terrible conversation in which I'm repeating myself because all the questions they're asking me, I've already answered. She knows
Yeah.
it. So why is her attorney rehashing it out with me? So I'm
Right.
annoyed. I'm annoyed. I'm on the phone. And at one point, I'm explaining something, and I said, Katrina Duke, Catalina Duke. I think it's Catalina Duke. And the guy in the corner who's looking at the electric panel looks over at me and he's like, and I'm like, oh, fucking leave me alone. I don't want to be on this call. I'm not that loud. I'm in the corner. Like, just leave me alone. Before I hang up the phone, he comes over with his cell phone and he writes a message where he says, um, if that's Catalina Duke, I need to talk to you. And I was like, okay. I end up getting off that call. His wife comes down. His name is Steve Bacon. He's actually in sub two. He joined like a couple months ago after this whole thing blew up.
By the way, that was my first sub two deal ever
Was it
to get on the
really?
contract. Yep. My first
What
sub
Nice.
did
two deal
what ended
ever.
what happened? What happened with that one?
I had a buyer on the contract,
Yeah.
and after I had him on the contract for like 2 weeks, his private money lenders, I guess that was funding him, um, they didn't want, they realized it was in second position, which they weren't for it. So
Hmm.
they kind of pulled out of the deal. After we got, you know how there were 8 rooms, and
Yeah.
I think it was like six of them were rented or seven of them were rented. After I got the owner to clear like four of them because he
Hmm.
wanted it free and clear to kind of renovate a little bit and rent it out.
Yep.
So after that, we had to start all over again. And then the owner was like, I'm just gonna keep it and continue doing my thing. Hopefully, I can grow this and it can, that nightmare can turn to something good. So,
What happened
What's
after that, though? Because like, who
he,
who goes from a sub two deal to keeping it to actually keeping it?
yeah, he actually decided to just keep it and try to grow his. Um, it was how people come out of jail or come out of sorry rehab, and they need like
Mm.
a step
halfway
further.
house?
Yeah, like a
Mm.
halfway
Halfway
house.
house.
But he was collecting rent every week, room by room. It was just a fucking headache for him. Like drug addicts. Didn't mean to cut you off, Susie.
No,
But
you're good.
yeah, it was a headache for him. Like he was evicting people. He had like three evictions going on. People
Oh
weren't
yeah,
paying him. People wanted to fight him. Like stupid shit.
classic. Well, how long
So
ago was that?
that
So what?
was 23 2 years ago.
And he
That
still
was
has it?
Yep. Huh?
you don't
Yeah, he
you
still
don't want
has
that.
it. I still
You
haven't.
don't.
Yeah, I'm still in contact with him. I still try to, pitch him offers. He's trying to, invest more and grow his like portfolio and stuff like that. But he had a great bro. He had like a 3% interest rate. He was walking in with 100 grand of equity, but the problem was the entry fee. The entry fee was like 80 grand. I had it on the contract for 80. and I was trying to get 100 for it. So I was making like 20. But
Nice.
it is what it is. Good
Habibi,
lesson.
what else do you have under contract right now?
I have a 2-family in Attleboro,
Okay.
1 bedroom, 1 bath, each unit, completely renovated, 5.5% interest rate, entry fees 50 grand.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
2-fam Attleboro?
2-fam in Attleboro. But the problem is it's only 1 bedroom, 1 bath.
Yeah.
But the mortgage is $2,595, let's say $2,600 with tax and insurance. And rents are $1,500 a unit to $1,600 a unit. So you can collect $3 grand to $3,200. So you're cash flowing, like $400. That's the average, like 200 a unit is the average. And it's completely renovated. It was an insurance job. Pipe bursted on the top floor. She owes about 16 grand in arrears. There's another wholesaler who like found the deal, and I helped him structure it and stuff like that. So we're kind of like, he wants 25 grand or 20 grand, whatever he can get. I want another 10, 15 grand. And 50 grand is the entry fee. It's a pretty
What's the name of the other wholesaler?
Bill.
Bill what?
Bill. Good question.
If you're comfortable, how do you currently dispo your creative deals?
So it depends if I'm wrapping them or I'm just wholesaling it. If I'm just wholesaling it, I just hit up my investors. I hit up my, I just post it on Facebook and I post it on, the free Pace Morby group. And
how come I haven't seen it?
I haven't actually posted it yet.
Oh.
Me and him are getting JV agreement today, and but he's been on this deal for 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been on this deal for like 6 months.
Do you use a specific attorney to close your creative stuff?
And there's I have a couple attorneys in Rhode Island and Mass. This one's in Mass, it's in Attleboro. There's an attorney who's really good. His name is David Levwith. That's one. There's another.
I've heard of him.
Yeah.
I think he works with Meg a lot.
He works with Zach Beach a lot too.
Yeah.
Paula Miller is great. There's First Title and Escrow.
First Title or First National Title and Escrow?
Is it First National or First Title? Yeah.
Is
First
it
National,
Steve Patty?
Steve Patty I think he's one of them. I like to deal with sorry, I'm doing like 3 things at once. Oh, Beth Aruda too. Beth Aruda is amazing. I love Beth. But what's his name? Like, I have a meeting with him this week. Alex Joyle.
No way.
Yeah, you know him?
Yes, I do. I know his sister. Where is he now? He used to work for Lima. I loved him.
He used to work for Lima, and then he moved to First National.
Stop it.
Yeah.
I love him.
Yeah. Tell him you spoke to me and
listen, he and I go way back. His sister and I lived in the same dorm. She's a track superstar over at URI. I heard his name. He was like, my name is Alex Joyelle. And I was like, what? And I can't remember his sister's name now, but I know her face. And I was like, are you this? And he's like, yeah, that's my sister. And I was like, Jesus Christ. But yeah, he used to take care of all my stuff over at Lima. I didn't really work with Mike at all. And then one day he was gone, and that was sad. And then also I really liked on the inside, oh, I forgot her name. Starts with the J. Anyway, she also
at Lima.
At Lima, yeah.
Hmm.
Have you used Lima? Lima's good for wholesaling. Not too creative stuff.
I've done my first flip. No, actually, I wasn't. My partner, Kyle Seabreth. I don't know if you guys know him.
Yeah, I know.
He does like a bunch of stuff with Lima, so that's how I got introduced to Lima.
They used to play basketball back in the day. That's what their whole thing is about. There's a
Yeah.
very small group of them.
Yeah, Kyle's great. Kyle does a ton, fucking volume.
I know he's a little bit of a machine out there. I know.
I did my first flip with him. I used him as a private money partner, and we partnered up on the deal. I used his money.
Red
And
Balloon Capital or something.
no, I used his money for a down payment. I got my own hard money lender. Imagine this. 8.5% interest rate. That was in 2022, but still 8.5. Yeah, I don't think anybody can get that.
Is that so? That's Kyle.
Kyle, I just used him for the down payment and some renovation money, and I used him for, like, his connections. Plus, he had a bunch of deals on his belt. It was my first, so I used his credibility. So we worked together.
Didn't you say you didn't make money on that? You had to like finance out of it and keep it?
I refinanced out of it, and I kept it for myself. It's actually a house I live in right now. It's my house.
Good.
But it was a great deal for me and for him. I pulled a home equity line of credit for like 40 grand right after I closed. I paid him 25 grand. I mean, he made money. I made money. We all ate. It was a great deal. It was a great learning experience for me too. That's
Yeah, your first is always good, and having somebody good with you is big time. Who gave you 8.5%?
It was out of Texas, a hard money company. What was their name? Shit, I forgot. But they were great.
I'm gonna text you when you find it. Just let me know, because one of the things that I did is I've been getting a term sheet from a bunch of different lenders based on like where I'm at currently, but kind of apples to apples comparison as to what everybody's offering. And then what I also do is I have my best performer now, and I take that term sheet, I send it to the others and try to have them price match, essentially compete for it. I just want to find out who's like the hungriest for it. You get to a point where money's money across the board. There's not really a big difference because the application is all the same. Draws are kind of all the same for the most part, $300 every time. And a lot of them are digital.
How much?
300 every time.
What do you mean 300 at a time?
So when you get a draw, right? Like let's say you have a $50,000 rehab budget. What you usually have to do is you have to spend X amount of money. So let's say you blow through like $20,000. Once you submit to your lender, you can tell them like, hey, I spent $20,000. Here's the invoices. Here's the picture of the work having been done. They will then reimburse you for the $20,000. That's considered a draw. Every time you take money out.
So some people do it differently.
Okay.
So the way I did it is that, like you said, let's say I finished the kitchen and a bathroom, right? That costed me 12 grand. I got on my because you fill out a budget, rehab budget before.
Yep.
After it's done, they send out a not an appraiser. They send out what do they call it? It's like a realtor who comes and takes pictures and sends it to them to verify.
BPO.
No. BPO is broker
price opinion. Yeah, but it's essentially the same thing.
Almost,
there's a company I use called BP Photo Flow, and they do the same thing. They go around taking pictures. There's X amount of pictures they have to take to verify that the work has been done, but essentially it's a human being that goes and says these pictures were done. You can also do it on your phone yourself, so you don't have to wait for somebody. But at the same time, for me, everywhere I've gone, I feel like it's always been about $300. $300 to have somebody come out, verify the work has been done, and then they release the money.
I remember it was 150 back when I did it, but I mean,
back when you did it was like 2022 or when?
Yeah, 22. I think it was like that flip was like 2022.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is what it is. Whatever.
I got you. All right.
The longer you,
go ahead.
No, I'm saying the longer you go, let's say you did a kitchen, instead of getting paid right away, you can kind of like hash it out. So you do the kitchen, bathrooms, maybe some paint, and then do a draw. So you won't have to keep paying that $300.
Right. Apart from the Attleboro deal, when you get the Attleboro deal, please I don't think I've gotten text from you lately at all.
You haven't. You're right.
What happened?
Just been busy doing a bunch of shit.
Like what?
We started I started something with my actually Kyle. Started something with Kyle and someone
Mhm.
else that we hired like a big cold calling company out of Egypt, and I
Okay.
got licensed, and we've been doing that, trying to get these deals, structuring them creatively off market, and trying to get some listings.
Okay.
Just pushing a lot of volume, getting agents on board, and
Mhm.
kind of building like a little network where agents are like boots on the ground for us, and then we can kind of get things going with the agents, passing whatever deals, whatever we can list, we list.
Yeah.
Whatever we can't list, well, I prefer to buy off market.
Mhm.
Whether it's wholesaling, creative, I aim for creative like the first thing, and then if that doesn't work, cash, and then if that doesn't work, list it on the market, and then if that doesn't work, it just means they're not fucking willing to sell.
Yeah. Wasn't that like a pace challenge at one point to like work with agents that had like
But
properties that were on market over 90 days to then pitch them creative?
Like no one left behind, or
I don't know the name of it, but I remember
these are
like
all off market, but
Mhm.
maybe,
Yeah. I
yeah,
think I think it was like I think like I like agents
but no,
personally.
these are all strictly off market.
Okay. That's great. Are you Egyptian? Habibi?
No, I'm Syrian.
Okay.
I'm Syrian.
All right. If you when you have deals, please let me know. I'm a buyer. You're working on cold calling stuff with Kyle Seaboy, right? Can you hear me?
Hello,
Yeah, I can hear you.
can you hear me now?
Kind of, but it's terrible. Where are you? You're at the gym? If you're at the gym, go to the gym. Don't worry about it. Habibi, go enjoy the
Hello.
gym. Okay. Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
Terribly.
great.
It's not clear, but I
I'm
think it's
in
because you're somewhere at the gym.
not
All right, Habibi, go enjoy the gym. I can't hear.
Is this better?
Better. Yeah.
Okay, I'm in the car. That's why.
Got it. So you're currently working with Kyle Seaboy. You're doing cold calling agents from Egypt. I heard that's good. I had a friend who actually used to do that.
Mhm.
Hourglass virtual
Yeah,
assistants. He said they were really inexpensive. They hustled quite a bit. Um, their pronunciation was really good too. Yeah.
mhm.
So are you trying to sell
Yes, that's
VAs
the most
going
important part.
forward, or what are you trying to do going forward?
Going forward, I'm trying to build a network of people just bringing me deals that are not working for them,
Yeah.
or whether it's agents or wholesalers off market or whatever, just bringing me deals where I can structure them in the best way possible, where it's like beneficial for the seller, beneficial for us, whether we execute our dispo is either like we wrap it, we do a lease option, we wholesale it, whatever we can do with it, or we buy it ourselves. And then building private lenders that are willing to do second position or even third position, that's very big.
How much are you paying for second position lenders?
Honestly, I'm not taking anything down right now, but I would rather just do a partner.
Okay.
Also, there's a couple lenders that would do like 12%, um, which is not bad.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, if
honestly
you need anything,
12%.
if you have a deal.
12% is pretty cheap. I mean, right now the best lenders that I have, hard money lenders, right? They're offering about like 10% and up. 9.25 all the way to 10.9 is what I've seen. But then when you add in the points, you're kind of closer to like 12, 13% anyway. So
Exactly.
having a private lender in second position, like usually I give first position to like 15%, second position goes up to like 20%, third position is probably a fucking nightmare at that point. But depending upon the deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be really careful when you're doing like lending stuff. So I'm gonna tag you with this girl in my group. A lot of people in sub two, I don't know what your experience has been in sub two. I think you joined recently, right?
Yeah, one of my guys joined and I got like a I just use his login, but I
Yeah,
don't have like I'm not in the Facebook group. I'm not in any of that, stuff.
yeah. Do you want to be or what?
Yeah, I do.
Who's your friend?
Adam,
So one
he's
thing,
not really known out here.
when you guys sign into sub two, a lot of people join, like husband and wives join or business partners join, so you can easily get a +1. How long ago did you join?
May,
Of this
end,
year?
end of April. Yeah.
Dude, go back immediately. Go back immediately. I'll text you the email and
Uh,
then have him say, listen, I have a business partner. I want my business partner
the
included. It's
the
free
problem
of,
is we have to have an LLC.
so make an LLC.
You
Yeah.
don't need to, I mean, I didn't when I let Yoni join, we weren't on an LLC together.
How
They
did you
probably,
join?
Maybe they changed. I mean, I
yeah,
joined and paid for it, and then I used him as my second, but we didn't have an LLC together.
No, they emphasize that we have to have an LLC together.
Ah,
you can make an LLC. What do
Yeah.
what do they need to see? Like they need to see it registered and then they need to see
Yeah.
an operating agreement.
Yep. Everything.
All right, this is cheating, but I'll tell you how to do it. You have an LLC, right?
Mm-hmm.
So your
Yep.
LLC is currently registered. And then what I would do is
Yep.
I have a template for an operating agreement. In your operating agreement, just make a operating agreement that says you and he are 50/50 partners. And then submit that.
hmm.
In the operating agreement, not under the LLC.
Yeah. So leave the LLC alone and just have an operating agreement that says we are 50%, 50/50 partners on this.
Mm.
It's a
Yeah,
fake
I'd just be
document.
weary if you're actually like doing business in that LLC though. Like if it's like you're not really doing anything in that LLC. I don't know. I don't know how that would work, but
It's not going to matter because the original articles of organization, the original operating agreement gets submitted when he first gets registered. Okay.
right.
So if sub-2 really wants to go through it, what they would do is go to the website, search his documents. What they're going to do is they're just going to ask, like, send us your operating agreement. So send them an operating agreement that says we're 50/50 partners. The whole thing is silly, right? Because again, husbands and wives join all the time. Just say you're a gay man and Adam's your boo and game over. You know what I mean, Habibi? It's not that
Yeah.
complicated. And if you want to bring in a third person, it's an extra $2,000. So you could have like three of you underneath one
Yeah.
mentorship together. That's the thing.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
I send you the email. Just talk to them and say, hey, listen, this is how everything was registered. I have a business partner. I have a husband, wife, girlfriend, lover, long-term, whatever you call those 10-year
Mhm.
people that live in your house. But just say, like, listen, we're together. What is it that you need to see to be able to give him a separate login? The end.
Okay.
And if you want to do a third person and say, listen, there's one more person in our office that we want to open this up to, maybe even Kyle Seaboy, right? Because it sounds like he's trying to do more creative stuff, or at least have you be his creative
I
person.
don't know.
Well, I
Yeah,
know
that's
that
what
man's
it is.
busy. He doesn't even drive his own damn car.
Yeah.
But if he wants access to it, or he wants to, like, it's good to have one other login for anybody else that wants to do something. The login, technically, you're not supposed to share, right? You're not supposed to because they're selling mentorships. But at the same time too, having a login is different than actually having a separate profile to then add people to the sub-2 group and blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
Exactly.
How has your experience been being on the inside since May?
To be honest, I've learned a lot from just watching the vault the videos
Yeah.
in the vault.
Yeah.
I've learned certain things, and it opened up more kind of like the entrance of the strategies there is just like more kind of tunnels. It opened up more tunnels.
Yeah, more possibilities, more options, more avenues. The only thing
And
that I was,
raps. That
yeah,
was important for me. Like, how do I deal with raps when there's certain stuff that you have to have. Obviously,
yeah,
paperwork is big. Just stuff like that.
yeah, good. Actually, I found out wraps are actually more common than sub twos. Essentially, a sub two is a mirror wrap. So when you first like got into creative, at least when I did, and I was talking to people about this, wraps were the default word for all the creative stuff. But yeah. I'm glad you're in. So Adam is your partner. You're in. You currently have a wholesale deal. The 2-unit 1-1 over in Attleboro, completely redone. When you get it, post it. And then the last thing that I'll tell you is be really safe when it comes to private money, borrowing, lending. I have a lot of close friends that got burned. And then I also have a lot of female friends that like run programs how to help people borrow safely so that people don't get in trouble. And these people worked with some of the big boys, and still there's trouble. And so they can give you a lot of insight as to how to not get in trouble. One
Okay.
of them,
How to not get in trouble and as like structuring paperwork, or not get in trouble as in like
the whole thing, the
like
whole
losing
thing.
their money.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
The whole point in being a lender is to get your money back with interest. And so if you're
Yeah.
not doing that, sorry, but you're doing it wrong. One of the girls is Alexis Morgan. She actually was the right-hand woman to Abraham Gray over in Atlanta. He's a big deal. He has more money than Pace does, more businesses than Pace does. And she was his right-hand man. She's coming July 23rd. Boston.
Okay.
Yeah. So watch
Boston?
out. Yeah, watch out for her. I need to get a venue and some other things going for her. But she's fabulous. She was like one of the first people. So Abraham doesn't go around teaching what he does. He just goes around slaying dragons all day. And then she created the program because she had to learn all this. And so she
Mhm.
learned it. She put together a program for other people to learn what she knows.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Is she like speaking in Boston?
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Can I come?
Yeah, you can come. The whole thing is free. She's coming to
Okay,
party.
perfect.
She's coming to party in New York as well. But she's gonna come
Perfect.
party in Boston, absolutely free, open to everybody. She is part of Sub 2, but the thing is, I explained to her like where Sub 2 is at least for me in New England. And so I'm going around making more friends that are outside of Sub 2 because I technically left. And I left because there were lots of problems on the inside, people stealing, bad things happening, corporate wasn't helping. And it was just dangerous. I think it's still dangerous. So just be careful out there, make good friends, right? And you'll be
Mhm.
okay. Yeah,
Yep.
cool. Any,
Appreciate it. Thank you.
any
Thank you.
questions on anything?
What are you hopping on here for? What do you got for us?
Oh, what do I got for you?
Yeah.
Wow, okay, okay. So I do this call every Tuesday. A long time ago, I used to do this for Sub 2 New England, and this is how we got started. And so what I realized is coming in here, it's kind of like real estate therapy to a certain extent, because you're kind of every entrepreneur is out there in the streets by themselves all alone. And a lot of people think that we're competing when really we're trying to collaborate more than anything. Collaborate, share
Exactly.
notes. My territory is completely, I just want Andover, Massachusetts. That's it. Everything else I don't give a flying F about. And I get deals from people all the time, or I get problems from people that they need to solve, and very easy for me to connect people with other people. So I come on here because it's a place for me to connect with people, because if not, I have people chasing me throughout the week trying to talk about things. And then if I'm talking to you about something that might be helpful to somebody else, it's just a better way to come to a one-stop shop and share everything once a week. I know what you got going on. Later throughout the week, if I hear somebody needs something in Attleboro or wants to invest or blah, 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 then I can pass them your way. But
Perfect.
usually 2 questions I'm asking is, what did you accomplish this past week? And then what are you hoping to accomplish this upcoming week?
So I got something actually. Do you know where Leominster is?
Yep.
Leominster. How
Lemons.
far is that? How far is that from you?
I think it's about an hour, maybe more. Why?
Oh, so I got this deal over there, right?
Yep.
Is this Indian guy? His wife passed away. He sold his like 200,000 square foot like manufacturing factory,
Okay.
and Like he got a shit ton of money, and he wants to sell his house because he's alone. His kids are, I don't even know where. And
College, moved out.
no, they're married. They moved out. They live somewhere else. And he has this 5-bedroom, 4-bath house that he just, with the in-ground pool on an acre, just doesn't know what to do with it. And so I offered him 3 offers. I offered him 650 cash. I
Mhm.
offered him 750 to list it on the market, and I offered him 800 grand seller finance. So he's more open to the seller finance more than anything else. So if I get this under seller finance, I'm not looking to keep it because it's
Yeah.
going to cost me like 4 grand a month, which I don't want. So wrapping this is going to be, I don't know if it's going to be a problem or it's going to be easy, because not anybody's going to walk in with 10%, 15%. That's like 120 grand or 80 grand or whatever. And willing to afford a $4,000 payment a month, $4,500 payment a month.
I would tell you, you don't know what other people are going through. You'd be surprised.
Yeah, true. It's really
Um,
nice. Like it's a nice in-ground pool, really nice backyard, spacious. Even I was thinking, like me, my house is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. I
yeah.
have I have a roommate, and I have my twin brother. We live together, and like I have income from them too. So I was thinking about something like that for someone else, like who has, you know, a bunch of college friends or whatever, like, you know, friends that work full-time jobs and are single, or I don't know.
It's possible. So we have all different kinds of people. Again, you'd be surprised who's interested in something like that. The good thing that I can tell you is the group that I have now. I think maybe you don't know. I had a friend, he stole from me. It was terrible. I hated it. I like left everything. But what I realized is the way that I was successful in anything, period, is having good friends. And he's not my only friend. So the group that I have now that I think you're a part of, Creative Elite, it's all people that I vouch for, everybody that I know. The problem that I had with doing Sub 2 New England is that when people were stealing and I knew about it, I couldn't say anything publicly. So I couldn't warn people about, like, quote unquote bad actors, bad apples, even though Pace was like, tell me. I'm like, bro, you don't want to know. You're going to be devastated. 1. And 2, let me tell corporate, because if anything, you can't handle everything one-on-one. So let corporate handle it. They just want to sell mentorships. They don't want to deal with people stealing.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the group that I created is a bunch of people. They're all my friends. If they steal, I will slaughter them publicly. I have no problem doing that. But yeah, so if you feel comfortable, I would have you post there. There are a lot of people that do a bunch of different strategies, which I love. So like rooming houses, transitional houses, halfway houses,
Is it
you would be, go ahead.
is it the group that you added me on?
Creative Elite?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a closed group. You cannot get in unless I give you the link to it. You can't look for it, nothing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So if you feel comfortable, I would tell you do that.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Once I get it under contract and like,
Yeah.
I got more details, specifics. Yeah, hell
Mhm.
yeah.
Cool.
I'm willing to share it anywhere.
Yeah. It's good for you to meet other people too. Like I also love, like, even if you have almost like a buyer already or somebody in mind, I love like looking at a property, getting a chance to talk about a project with somebody. It helps me meet other people, right? It helps me see how you think through things, how you behave, what your demeanor is, what you look for. Like it's a litmus test across the board. So I like it. And it's a great way for you to start having dialogue too with like other people, because I know you're out there in Rhode Island. Rhode Island doesn't have that much going on for it.
No,
So it would be nice for like you to have some more creative friends out there. Yeah.
actually, I have something for you. I have a question.
Well,
I
go.
actually have a question for you.
Yeah, go.
I have 2 questions. One of them is for like an insurance. Let's say you bought a property, or you have something under contract and there's an insurance claim on it.
I can't hear you with
Is
your
going to stay
AirPods.
on that property record, right?
Say it one more
Can you
time.
hear me
I lost you when you put in your AirPods.
I said, when you buy a property and it has like an insurance claim on it, that
Yeah.
affects the history of the property, correct?
I believe so.
So it stays on the property even when the owner switches names. What's up, bro?
I believe so.
Nice to see you. Okay, so that's one. Second thing is when you take a home equity line of credit, I came across a lead that I was negotiating, and they had a home equity line of credit that was pulled, but they never used it. Like it's not used; they just have it in the background. So when it comes to a property that already has a second lien on it,
Yeah.
right? What do you? Let's say I'm going to give you an example. First mortgage is $250.
Yep.
Home equity line of credit is $100,000. He hasn't used it. So when I buy the property, I buy it with like a sub two. I take over is $250, and then the $100,000, I take that over too. Correct?
So that's going to be hard to do because usually when they underwrite it, so a couple things. Number one, you never know if he actually used it or not, right? Buyers are liars, sellers are worse. The thing that you would check for a HELOC is there's something, and I don't know what it's called, but I think it's called a draw period. So when you get it, there's a period of time that you can take out money, or then there's a revolving, I know HELOC stands for a line of credit. Some of them have a revolving.
Home equity line of credit. Yep.
Right. So some of them are revolving and some of them are fixed. So I would tell you, go back, whatever the HELOC is, you can find it on public record, pull out that document and read through it because that'll tell you a little bit more. If you want to sub to his HELOC, that's going to be really, really tough. And the reason why is because they're constantly checking to see if you sold the house, because that's usually when they get their money back. And if they see that the deed has transferred into a name that is not the name that the original HELOC was originated under, they're going to be pissed.
So the HELOC is 100% always fluctuating, and it's interest only. When you use the money. Let's say you have $100,000 in that HELOC and you haven't used it yet, you don't pay anything.
Yeah.
Only when you pull money out of that HELOC, you pay, and it's interest only, and it fluctuates. It's up to 12%, and some months is 11, some months is 9.
Okay. The other thing that I'll tell you is why don't you just post the situation in that Creative Elite group? There's a person, it's Alicia Lopes, that I want to introduce you to. So not only is she in Rhode Island, but the question that you had about the insurance, she did that. So she ended up doing a property. She bought a sub 2 that had recently had an insurance claim on it, and she was able to get the insurance claim in her name. So she purchased the property, the insurance claim, and then she purchased the first mortgage in place. So she can maybe help out a little bit with that. And then when it comes to HELOC, that's going to be I really think you're going to have trouble with it. Go ahead. Yeah, Zach Beach would be good. Yeah.
I mean, I would just be careful if you can't get that. Make sure that they're not taking it out. I think the sub 2 docs might say something about like, hey, you can't take additional liens or whatever on this. But like, what happens if you close on it and then they pull from the HELOC? You know?
Exactly, and that's why I'm not trying to, like, I don't know if that HELOC is assignable, or like, I know I can't put it under my name because that would trigger the due on sale. But if I was to, I can't leave it under his name. That's not even possible.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't even do that.
I would tell you first and foremost, go to public record, pull the HELOC. It's going to be like 10, 14 pages. Read through it because that's going to tell you kind of what you can do and what you can't do.
Mm-hmm.
If it's assumable, that'll be written there. I really highly doubt HELOCs are assumable. It's usually somebody elderly that's passing away. They need some money. They take out a HELOC. When they pass away, that's their chance to recoup the money. Because if not, then yeah, things are weird. So I'm going to say highly likely no. You can find more information in the vault. Just keep in mind we're over here in Rhode Island, and sometimes things change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, when I negotiate these deals and they have like silent seconds, like this Attleboro one has a mortgage for $335 outstanding, and then has a second silent second, which is no big deal. It only gets cashed out whenever the mortgage is paid off. You know, it's a silent second. We don't have to make payments on that. Cool. It's $15,000. So altogether it's $350. No big deal.
But
Okay.
like when you're buying a house with the HELOC already pulled on it, or I know that you can structure deals where he has so much equity that instead of doing a hybrid, instead of doing the seller finance portion, I would have him under his name pull a HELOC, and then I will take that HELOC, or I can have him pull that HELOC, and I'll just make the payments on that HELOC instead of coming up with the cash up front. You understand?
Yes, yeah.
So instead of coming up with $100,000 for his seller for his equity, I'll just have him pull a HELOC for $100,000, and then I'll have him pull it off, cash it out, and I'll just make payments on that HELOC.
I
A
would
lot
talk-
cheaper than.
I would talk to an attorney to see where you're exposing yourself to trouble. I've seen other people do the whole land trust thing. I don't know. I don't know enough.
So-
I
so
like
all
how it
those-
works in theory, but I don't know the mechanics, and I don't think I've ever seen one. I don't think I've ever seen someone do one.
So none of those have anything to do with the HELOC that's already pulled but not used. That's the issue. The issue is not having him go pull a HELOC and then having him take the equity. The issue is him pulling that HELOC that he already has and not used it. So now when I go to buy the property, it's either he's going to have to cash it out and I'll just make the payments on the interest, and then I'll just sub to it like as a second lien, or I just can't have, or I'll have him cancel the HELOC and give it back to them, back to the bank.
You just close it out.
But that's not an ideal thing to do.
To close out a HELOC?
Yeah, because I'm gonna have to go borrow that $100,000. If he has that $100,000 in a HELOC, I would rather him cash it out.
I understand you having him cash it out, but then you assuming it, you making payments, you leaving his name in so that you can do all that. That's a really dicey place for you to be in. It sounds good in theory if everybody holds hands and sing kumbaya, but that's not what reality is. So you have to go into a transaction assuming the worst and then writing precautions so that you don't get there. And then also limiting exposure wherever you can do that. Because that guy might have a good day today, and then 20 years later, I don't know, have dementia or something, and be mad at you for him losing his house and come at you for more money, and wheeling deal. So what I would tell you is go to public record, pull it, see what you can do, start talking to attorneys and saying, listen, this is what I want to do. This amount money is outstanding. How can I do this where I make payments but also protect myself? Blah 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 blah.
How do you think I should pull that public record info on a HELOC?
You just search. HELOC has a public. If there's a HELOC, it's publicly reported against the property. Where's the property?
Because it's a lender.
Where's the property located?
Where was it located?
So
Somewhere in
Habibi,
Rhode Island.
Habibi, do this. Just message me when you know the location. Just have you never looked up anything on public record?
I do.
Okay. So
I have batch is a lot easier for me to do stuff like that. But when it goes into like the details of the lender and all that stuff, like especially on a HELOC is different.
It's all in the document. The document has
Correct.
to say who the money came from, who the money's going to, how much money.
And I just
Yeah.
look up whoever it is.
So look it up. Look it up. If you run into trouble, come back and find me. Okay.
Okay. Have you tried Deal Sauce?
Say it again.
Have you guys tried Deal Sauce yet?
No.
No.
Nope.
What about LOI Blaster?
What about what?
LOI Blaster?
So I really like that guy. That's Mylan Briley. I love him. He's a genius. Yeah. I know him as a person. I don't know him as a businessman.
You could very likely build your own through Google Docs and some sort of automation a lot cheaper than that. Or I don't know, how much is it? It's like $600 or something to get in, and then something monthly, or
I have no idea.
it's cool. Concept
Just talk to him. Myron is exceptional. I really like him.
Yeah,
He's actually a regional leader out in Texas, like back in the day. And then his wife is, I totally forgot her name, but I can see her face, and she's lovely as well. She actually runs in the same group as Vina Jetty.
Marlon?
What?
Is it Marlon? What was his name?
Myron. Text me, Myron Briley.
Myron.
Myron.
There are a couple. I know Myron and Pace always shouts them out. Myron and
Yeah.
Myron and shit. I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat.
Okay, cool.
All right. Enjoy your workout.
Thank you guys.
You're welcome.
Nice to meet you.
Mark.
Sorry, what was your name?
Mark.
Nice to meet you, Mark.
Habibi, Mark, wholesaler North Shore. He has a counterpart in South Shore, that's Devin. And then he used to work for White Acres, so they do everything from like Worcester all the way over to the East Coast. They're really good at what they do. And then Mark started his own company called Local Home Offers, and he's been really successful. If you find him on Instagram, you'll see all the stuff that he's been up to.
Cool.
Cool.
Sounds good.
Bye, Habibi.
Mark, I'm gonna drop my my name in the chat, and you can follow me on Instagram and add me on Facebook. And I don't know if you can hear me, but Mark, you
You're
with
on
us?
mute, Mark.
I'm with you. I follow you on Facebook
cool.
currently, and I just added you on Insta.
Okay, cool. All right, bro.
All right, man. I'll catch you.
All right, Susie.
Bye, Habibi.
All right, later.
Bye.